Have you ever felt the overwhelming emptiness of losing someone you love deeply? In this video, we explore the profound journey of coping with the loss of a spouse, navigating through grief, and finding the strength to live a fulfilling life again. Whether you're facing the challenges of loneliness, struggling to rely solely on your children, or contemplating remarriage in your later years, this video offers heartfelt advice and real-life stories to guide you. Stay with us until the end to discover essential strategies that can transform your pain into peace and help you embrace a vibrant, fulfilling future. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me. And if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. In a profoundly moving gesture of solidarity and wisdom, 3 seasoned individuals courageously open up about their deeply personal journeys, aiming to reach out to their beloved middle-aged and elderly friends. Through their heartfelt stories, they convey an essential and life-affirming message. If you find yourself facing the heart-wrenching reality of your spouse leaving first, it is crucial to steadfastly refuse to engage in 3 specific detrimental behaviors. These wise elders, drawing from their own experiences filled with both pain and triumph, passionately emphasize that by avoiding these pitfalls, you can safeguard your dignity and well-being. Their earnest advice is not merely practical guidance, but a beacon of hope that shines brightly amidst the shadows of uncertainty and sorrow. They express, with genuine empathy and understanding, that adhering to their counsel will pave the way for a future where your later years can be lived with comfort, serenity, and genuine joy. The emotional weight of their narratives resonates deeply, inspiring a sense of resilience and empowerment. Their collective voices echo a powerful affirmation that, even in the face of such profound loss, it is possible to cultivate a life that remains fulfilling and pleasant. This heartfelt appeal serves as a testament to the enduring human spirit and the unwavering belief that, with the right mindset and support, one can navigate the challenges of later life with grace and optimism. First refusal, immersing in excessive grief for too long. When a partner who has been your steadfast companion for the majority of your life decides to leave, even amidst the shared joys of raising children, the resulting void in your heart can feel insurmountable. This emptiness is uniquely reserved for the departed partner, a space where you find yourself nostalgically lingering, unable to move forward. Ms. Lee, a resilient 67-year-old woman, poignantly shared her heart-wrenching experience. When I was 64, my husband passed away. The moment he left, a piece of my soul shattered, and I struggled to accept this unbearable loss. During those bleak days, I felt like a walking corpse, utterly devoid of purpose and meaning. Countless nights, I contemplated joining him, overwhelmed by the crushing weight of my sorrow. I often cried myself to sleep, especially during the long, sleepless nights, staring at our expansive double bed that now felt so painfully empty, with only me lying there. Ms. Lee's story is a testament to the profound agony that accompanies the loss of a life partner. Her candid admission of feeling like life had lost its meaning captures the deep despair that many face during such turbulent times. However, amidst her despair, a flicker of hope began to emerge. It was inevitable to feel sad, Ms. Lee continued, her voice tinged with both sorrow and determination. But every time I looked at our old photos, seeing us smile so genuinely and happily, I realized that perhaps I should hold on a little longer. My husband wouldn't want me to live in perpetual darkness. No matter how overwhelming my sadness was, shedding tears wouldn't bring him back. So I chose to honor his memory by continuing to live, allowing him to rest peacefully in another world. Finding peace within myself is what I must do. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. The journey from profound grief to gradual acceptance is neither swift nor straightforward. Miss Lee describes the internal battle she waged against the consuming darkness of her emotions. There were days when the weight of my grief felt unbearable, she recalls, her eyes reflecting the lingering pain, when getting out of bed seemed like the hardest task of all. I remember staring blankly at the walls of our home, feeling trapped in a cage of my sorrow. But then, I began to seek small moments of solace, whether it was the gentle warmth of the morning sun streaming through the curtains or the soothing sound of birds singing outside my window. These little things started to remind me that life still held beauty, even in the smallest of details. Ms. Lee's path to healing was paved with both external support and internal resilience. My children became my anchors, she shares, her voice softening with gratitude. They encouraged me to share my feelings, to talk about Dad, and to remember the good times we had together. Friends reached out with kind words and gestures, reminding me that I was not alone in my sorrow. Their unwavering support was a lifeline, helping me navigate the tumultuous waters of my emotions. I also found solace in activities that once brought me joy. Gardening, painting, and even simple walks in the park became therapeutic outlets for my pent-up grief. As Ms. Lee began to reclaim her life, she realized the importance of establishing new routines and setting small, achievable goals. At first, even the thought of cooking a meal seemed daunting, she admits, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. But gradually, I started to find pleasure in preparing dishes that Dad loved. Cooking became a way to honor his memory and to bring a sense of normalcy back into my life. I set daily goals for myself, whether it was reading a book, tending to my garden, or simply sitting in the sun for a few minutes. These small victories built up my confidence and helped me see that life could still hold meaning and joy. Ms. Lee's story is not just one of sorrow, but also immense strength and resilience. Her transformation from a state of despair to one of hope and acceptance serves as a beacon of inspiration for others navigating similar losses. There were moments when I felt like giving up, she confesses, her voice wavering with emotion. But then I thought about all the beautiful memories we shared and the love that still binds us. I realized that living well is the best way to honor him. It's about finding a balance between cherishing the past and embracing the future. Every step forward, no matter how small, was a testament to my love for him and my commitment to living a life that he would be proud of. Ms. Lee's journey underscores the profound truth that while the separation of life and death is undeniably one of the most sorrowful experiences, the living must find a way to move forward. Clinging to the past, no matter how joyous or sweet the memories, can prevent one from embracing the present's beauty and the hope that lies ahead. Learning to look forward and live well in the present is not only a profound duty to oneself, but also a loving tribute to the departed spouse, granting them the peace they deserve. When faced with the heart-wrenching departure of a spouse, it is essential to remain calm and composed. Comforting oneself, diligently caring for one's health, and maintaining mental clarity are vital steps in preventing grief from overwhelming your spirit. Gradually adjusting your mindset, reclaiming your confidence, and fostering a self-sufficient and strong existence are pivotal in navigating this challenging phase. Embrace the simple joys of life. Cheer up, savor your favorite foods, rest when you need to, take strolls in the park, and explore the streets with a renewed sense of purpose. Resist the urge to overly rely on others. Instead, cultivate the ability to enjoy solitude with grace and wisdom. Nurture your inner world and learn to appreciate moments of loneliness as you would savor a glass of aged wine slowly and thoughtfully, embracing the depth and richness they bring to your life. In moments of loneliness, reach out to friends, engage in heartfelt conversations, and rediscover joy in both companionship and solitude. By doing so, you ensure that your later years remain not only bearable but truly enjoyable. Ms. Lee's inspiring resilience underscores the possibility of transforming profound loss into a journey of self-discovery and lasting happiness. Her experience serves as a powerful reminder that, even in the face of immense grief, it is possible to cultivate a life filled with comfort, serenity, and genuine joy. Embracing this mindset allows you to honor your past while eagerly anticipating a future brimming with hope and fulfillment. Moreover, Ms. Lee emphasizes the importance of self-compassion and patience. Healing isn't a linear process, she thoughtfully notes, and it's okay to have bad days. It's important to forgive yourself for not feeling okay and to recognize that moving forward doesn't mean forgetting. It means finding a new way to live with the memories that shape us. Her words highlight a crucial aspect of the healing journey, acknowledging and validating one's emotions while gently guiding oneself toward a brighter tomorrow. In the quiet moments of reflection, Ms. Lee found solace in her spiritual beliefs and personal philosophies. Meditation and prayer became my sanctuary, she shares, eyes closed as if still immersed in those peaceful practices, allowing me to connect with something greater than myself and find inner peace. These practices helped me center my thoughts and provided a sense of calm amidst the chaos of my emotions. Her story also touches upon the societal expectations placed on individuals in mourning, especially within the middle-aged and elderly communities. There's often an unspoken pressure to move on quickly, Ms. Lee observes, a note of frustration in her voice. But everyone's journey is unique. It's important to honor your own pace and not compare your healing process to others. What matters most is finding what works for you and embracing it wholeheartedly. As Ms. Lee continues to thrive in her later years, she actively engages in community activities and volunteer work, finding purpose in helping others who are navigating similar losses. Giving back to the community has been incredibly rewarding, she explains, a warm smile lighting up her face. It reminds me that even in the depths of my grief, I can still make a positive impact on the lives of others. It's a beautiful way to keep my husband's spirit alive and to continue building meaningful connections. Ms. Lee's extended narrative serves as a profound exploration of grief, resilience, and the human spirit's capacity to heal and find joy once more. Her heartfelt journey provides invaluable insights and inspiration for those grappling with similar losses, offering a roadmap to navigate complex emotions and emerge stronger and more fulfilled. By refusing to succumb to excessive grief, Ms. Lee exemplifies the strength and grace that can transform the darkest of times into opportunities for growth, connection, and enduring happiness. Second, refusal, over-relying on children for the rest of your life. When the twilight years approach and a beloved spouse is no longer by your side, the children naturally become the closest companions and sources of support. Many single parents, after the profound loss of their partner, envision living with one of their children, believing this arrangement to be the ideal form of retirement. This belief stems from a deep-seated desire for familial closeness and the comfort of being surrounded by loved ones during the later stages of life. However, in today's rapidly changing society, young adults increasingly prefer to live separately, prioritizing their households and lifestyles. This shift is not merely about differing living habits. It encompasses varying perspectives on financial management, child-rearing philosophies, and the pursuit of personal independence. Some elderly individuals, in the wake of their spouse's departure, may hope that their children will be available to them around the clock, or at least take them in temporarily, assuming this is an inherent duty of filial piety. Yet, they often overlook that their children have their own families to support and numerous pressures that may not be visible to them. If elderly parents focus excessively on having their children around, they inadvertently place undue strain on their offspring, who may find it challenging to balance their own lives and responsibilities. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. Mrs. Howe, a spirited 65-year-old woman, shares her poignant experiences. After my spouse passed away, I lived with my daughter for many years, and now I find myself living alone once more. Initially, I believed that the mutual support between parents and children was only natural, thinking that having raised my daughter through her youth, it was only fitting that she would be there to accompany me in my later years. But after dedicating all my time and energy to my daughter's family, what I received in return was growing disdain. My husband and I were both retirees, and I hadn't considered how to live alone, mistakenly assuming we would grow old together. But illness took my husband away, leaving me to navigate life alone. My daughter had just given birth to a grandson, and my son-in-law kindly took me in, suggesting I live with them during retirement. I was grateful for their advice and comfort, seeing my grandson as a reincarnation of my beloved husband. I devoted all my time to him, assisting with household chores at my daughter's place. Initially, my daughter and son-in-law provided some monthly support for living expenses, but as my pension became available, they ceased their financial assistance. As my grandson grew, my pension alone was insufficient to support a family of 4. I repeatedly brought this up to my daughter, but she seemed impatient, occasionally giving me some money but mostly pretending to forget. Living with family often leads to disagreements, especially when the elderly have different perspectives on finances and child rearing. I found myself criticizing my daughter for not being frugal, for shopping online daily without saving for emergencies, and for her lax approach to my grandson's education. My daughter and son-in-law believed in allowing him to develop naturally, while I felt that discipline from an early age was essential. Over time, this created a significant rift between us. They began speaking to me with less politeness and respect. Reflecting on my years living with my daughter, I chose to live alone again. When I proposed moving back home, they expressed that they would miss me, but their relief was evident. They seemed happy to be rid of what they perceived as a burden. It felt as though my presence was only needed when my grandson was young, but now they could manage on their own. Returning home, I initially felt lonely and idle, no longer having the structure of daily activities, but this led to feelings of emptiness and loss without emotional support. However, over time, I learned to embrace solitude. I rediscovered my interests, joined calligraphy and painting classes, and became involved in community groups, making a few like-minded friends. My days became fulfilling, and I realized that a life of financial independence, leisure, and personal freedom was the ideal I had longed for. After my husband passed away, I finally began to live the retirement life I truly wanted. Mrs. Howe's narrative underscores the complexities and emotional turmoil that can arise from over-relying on children during one's later years. Her experience illustrates how the desire for familial support can sometimes lead to unintended consequences, such as strained relationships and a loss of personal autonomy. The initial assumption that mutual support was a natural, enduring bond without considering the evolving dynamics of modern family life highlights a common pitfall among the elderly. The emotional toll of feeling like a burden, coupled with the frustration of unmet expectations, can exacerbate feelings of loneliness and dissatisfaction. However, Mrs. Howe's ultimate decision to live independently and pursue her passions serves as a powerful testament to the importance of self-reliance and personal freedom. Her journey reflects a profound realization that while children are invaluable sources of support and love, it is equally important for the elderly to cultivate their own lives, interests, and communities. This balance ensures that they maintain their dignity and happiness without placing undue expectations on their children, who have their own lives to manage. Moreover, Mrs. Howe's story serves as a poignant reminder that aging gracefully involves finding a harmonious balance between seeking support and fostering independence. It is crucial for elderly individuals to recognize the changing dynamics of family life and to proactively seek out ways to enrich their own lives. Engaging in hobbies, building new friendships, and participating in community activities not only provide emotional fulfillment, but also contribute to a sense of purpose and belonging. Mrs. Howe's successful transition to a more independent and self-sufficient lifestyle demonstrates that it is possible to redefine one's later years in a way that is both satisfying and enriching. Her experience encourages other elderly individuals to reflect on their own lives and to consider how they can create a fulfilling and autonomous existence, even in the absence of a spouse, while respecting the lives of their children. In reflecting upon Mrs. Howe's journey, it becomes evident that the path to a fulfilling retirement lies not in independence, but in embracing independence and personal growth. The emotional resilience required to step away from over-reliance on children is immense, yet the rewards are equally substantial. By cultivating personal interests and fostering a strong sense of self, elderly individuals can experience a renewed sense of This approach not only enhances their quality of life, but also preserves the harmony within family relationships, allowing children to thrive without the added pressures of caregiving responsibilities. Mrs. Howe's story is a shining example of how embracing independence can lead to a deeply satisfying and happy retirement, free from the constraints and expectations that can sometimes accompany living with adult children. Her path to self-discovery and fulfillment serves as an inspiring blueprint for others, highlighting that a rich and rewarding life is achievable through resilience, personal growth, and the courage to forge one's path. Furthermore, Mrs. Howe's experience sheds light on the broader societal shifts impacting elderly care. As traditional family structures evolve, the expectation that children will always be the primary caregivers is becoming less realistic. This reality calls for a reevaluation of how society supports its aging population, emphasizing the need for community-based resources, accessible healthcare, and social programs that empower the elderly to live independently. Mrs. Howe's proactive approach to her later years exemplifies the importance of adaptability and the pursuit of personal happiness, even amidst challenging circumstances. Her story encourages a broader conversation about the responsibilities of society in supporting its elderly members, advocating for systems that respect individual autonomy while providing the necessary support for those who choose to remain independent. Third, refusal, rashly finding a new partner or marrying. The notion that second marriages can be particularly risky is a sentiment often echoed in society, and while it carries a grain of truth, it certainly doesn't capture the entire reality. Elderly remarriages, in particular, are frequently shaped by decades of established habits, deeply ingrained beliefs, and emotional baggage that can weigh heavily on the heart. Each person enters the new relationship carrying their own life experiences, fears, and even a touch of selfishness, which can create a challenging environment for building a sincere partnership in the later stages of life. After losing a beloved spouse, it's common to grapple with overwhelming feelings of loneliness, sadness, and anxiety about the future. The desire to find a kindred spirit for mutual support is perfectly understandable, however. The risks and complications that accompany elderly remarriages are significant and cannot be brushed aside. Finding a considerate and understanding companion can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack, and a misstep could turn what remains of one's golden years into a landscape of heartache and regret. Take, for instance, the poignant experiences of Mrs. Fong, a 62-year-old woman whose life story is a testament to the complexities of love and loss. Reflecting on her journey, she shares, "Having been through 2 marriages, my first husband passed away when I was only 53. After 3 long years of grieving, I thought I was ready to embrace companionship again. But I rushed into a second marriage that ended in divorce within a year. The pain and anger I still carry about that relationship weigh heavily on my heart. I share my story in hopes that others might learn from my mistakes." At 50, Mrs. Fong envisioned a future filled with laughter, love, and adventures alongside her husband once he retired. She longed to explore the world together, making up for all the precious time they lost during their busy lives. Yet, cruel fate intervened, and her dreams were shattered when her husband succumbed to a devastating illness before they could even begin to embark on their planned adventures. The grief that enveloped her was profound and all-consuming, leaving her in a shadowy abyss for an extended period. Concerned for her well-being, her son urged her to move in with him, hoping to lift her spirits. But Mrs. Fong hesitated, unwilling to impose on his already busy life and wanting to maintain her independence. "I tosh her up," he suggested, enrolling her in a senior travel group. But once again she declined, opting instead to join a dance and poetry recitation class on her own, yearning for a sense of purpose and connection. It was within this nurturing environment that she fortuitously met Mr. Liu, initially just an acquaintance who shared her interest in the arts. But destiny took an unexpected turn when Mrs. Fong injured her ankle one day while navigating the stairs. In her moment of vulnerability, Mr. Liu rushed to her aid, bringing her to the hospital and providing compassionate care at home during her recovery. Those few days apart from class, filled with genuine kindness and support, drew them closer together, awakening a flicker of hope in her heart. Within 2 months, Mr. Liu expressed his feelings for her and proposed they live together for mutual support. Caught off guard yet filled with an intoxicating blend of happiness and apprehension, she felt an overwhelming rush of emotions. While she yearned to embrace this new opportunity for companionship, a small voice inside her urged caution, reminding her to consult her son before making such a significant commitment. Her son, though supportive, wisely suggested that they meet Mr. Liu's family to gauge their character and compatibility. They shared a dinner that evening, both families in attendance, and while the initial interaction felt promising, her son encouraged her to take her time and truly observe the dynamics before diving headfirst into marriage. Yet Mrs. Fong, convinced that Mr. Liu was the right choice, chose to dismiss this invaluable advice. A few days later, they registered their marriage, and she moved into his home, filled with optimism for a fresh start and a renewed sense of purpose. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. In the beginning, everything seemed to flow smoothly, and the promise of a brighter future flickered brightly. Mrs. Fong embraced her role in the household, handling the housework without complaint, feeling that it was a natural part of her identity, something she had always done. Yet, as time wore on, cracks began to appear in the facade of their seemingly harmonious relationship. When her old friends invited her to travel, She eagerly agreed, craving the joy and adventure that had long eluded her. However, Mr. Liu's unexpected reaction was hurtful and disheartening. He voiced his displeasure, claiming that if she left, no one would be there to maintain the household. The ensuing argument was fierce, with words exchanged that cut deep, leaving her questioning the very foundation of their marriage. It was the first time she had truly doubted their union, her heart heavy with uncertainty. Upon returning home from her trip, she found herself faced with even more turmoil. Mr. Liu's son had gone through a painful divorce, leaving them to care for his grandson, a situation that had not been part of her envisioned future. Initially, she embraced the boy as her own, pouring love and care into him, hoping to create a warm and nurturing environment. But his behavior quickly became intolerable. He was spoiled, demanding, and prone to tantrums at the slightest provocation. The once joyful atmosphere in their home turned tense and chaotic, and Mrs. Fong felt herself becoming increasingly overwhelmed. After several exhausting days of trying to manage the situation, she approached Mr. Liu with a heavy heart, suggesting that his son take back the child for everyone's well-being. However, his vehement opposition shattered her hopes for a harmonious family life. "You're not my grandson's mother, so don't interfere. If you can't handle it, then stay out of it," he declared, his words piercing her heart like arrows. At that moment, she felt a deep sense of injustice and isolation, as if the walls were closing in around her. Through this painful journey, Mrs. Fong came to a harsh yet profound realization. Her marriage at this stage of life is fraught with challenges, especially when it comes to gaining acceptance within a new family. After months of enduring a life filled with conflict, misunderstandings, and escalating resentment, she made the courageous decision to file for divorce. The emotional toll had become unbearable, and she knew she deserved better. Thankfully, the divorce process was smooth, providing her with a sense of relief and a glimmer of hope for the future. Now, as she reflects on her experiences, she recognizes that living alone, while perhaps lonely at times, offers a sense of freedom and self-discovery that is invaluable. She believes it is far more desirable than navigating the minefield of a troubled relationship, filled with unmet expectations and emotional strife. In sharing her story, Mrs. Fong hopes to illuminate the complexities of love and the importance of carefully considering the decisions we make, especially when it comes to matters of the heart in our later years. She encourages others to take the time to reflect on their desires and needs, and to approach new relationships with caution and introspection. After all, the journey of love is as beautiful as it is challenging, and understanding ourselves is the key to finding genuine happiness. As we conclude this poignant exploration of the challenges and intricacies of elderly remarriage, we invite you to reflect on the insights shared today. What have you learned from Mrs. Fong's experience? How can her journey inform your own choices and relationships, or help you support those around you facing similar decisions? We'd love to hear from you. Please share in the comments one key takeaway you plan to apply in your life moving forward. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave your comment below, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more meaningful discussions and stories. Thank you for being part of our community.